what risks, or maybe even we focused a lot on risk, but maybe talk more about what you've seen that companies that have these tightly integrated and working together, what they're able to do that companies that don't aren't.
Yeah, good question. And I'm actually working on something right now, and I spent some, an hour or two this morning on it as well. And there's a company I'm working with. They have an A/B test live on the site right now. Again, I always keep in mind, and I say this a lot, but a lot of time and effort was put into getting this test running on the site. So I keep that in mind because we really want to make sure that we're getting the biggest benefit out of the test. And that doesn't mean it's a test winner. It might not be. But what I'm doing now is, and it stemmed from a great business question, the business side from the product owner, is all right, we got this test on our page, and I don't want to know how all visits to the page are performing. In other words, Jason, you hit the page, Jim, you're into the test, I'm in the test. I don't care about like all of those visits. I want to know a specific subset of people and how they performed in the site. Now, some of that can be done in targeting up front in the test, but only to a certain extent. So when analytics is tightly integrated with optimization with your testing tool, I can go in there and I can really do some cool things in analytics as far as creating these audiences to really drill down and say like, no, I don't want every visitor. I want every visitor who is registered, and then I want every visitor who has not done this yet. And I want to know the impact of the test on that specific subset. And it's getting really cool right now. Like I'm having fun with the data, and we're going back and forth. The client and I are going back and forth a lot. We're learning a lot about this certain subset, and without the analytics integration with the tool, it couldn't be done because this all stemmed from the client saying, "Hey, like I'm in the testing tool, and this is the issue I'm having." So
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, "Oh yeah, we got to look broader. We got to look at the analytics integration here."
In those companies that you've worked with that have had really well integrated programs, is there any commonality as far as which department they sit in, or have you seen it kind of randomly distributed across multiple departments?
I'd say it's pretty random. Obviously you see a lot to your point earlier about the sales. There's a lot in the marketing, right? But there's also I see a lot in analytics too, on the analytics team. Like we're working with another client where optimization is completely rolled up into the analytics team itself, and the benefit from there is just huge because on these weekly phone calls, it's analytics and optimization together, so everyone's like on the same page all the time. And you'll be talking about a test. Hey, we're thinking about this test, and we have this test brief, and the optimization person on the analytics team put it together. But then the analyst is on the call too. And be, hey, did you think of this? Right? What about exit rates? Did we look at that? That's super important.
In teams that have analytics and optimization combined, um, within that team, is there any kind of separation, or is it we're all kind of wearing multiple hats? So let's take the optimization component. If I'm an analyst, if I'm an architect, am I dedicated to the optimization program, even though we all roll up to analytics, or am I spread out and doing multiple things, and optimization is just one part of my role?
Yeah, so I mean, I've definitely seen both. When I was working at a large retailer a bunch of years ago, we had a dedicated analyst to the optimization team. We also had a dedicated developer. We also had a dedicated content person design. So it was like, I mean, this team was cooking.
High
It was
functioning team
one,
sounds like.
yeah, high functioning. But you're not always going to have that. You're not going to have the dedication and the advocacy from above that needs to drive a best in class program like that. So you may have an analyst on the team that's also doing analysis for other projects, right? And that's okay. I think as long as the integration's there, you may have an analyst doing the optimization tool too. They may be doing both. So you may get just a highly talented person who can run the optimization as well as like dig into the analytics tool. So definitely see both.